Hey everybody, here's your second episode of Mrs. P TV. We're starting on page 18 and we're talking about active volcanoes. I've been to Hawaii, so I'll show you some pictures I have. They're not super close, but I got to see an active volcano, the caldera at least was pretty cool. Okay, so be thinking, what's the main idea of this page, page 18? The title is Active Volcanoes, but let's see if that's what it's really all about. Sometimes the movement of tectonic plates causes holes, called vents, to open up in the Earth's crust. The vents allow magma from the mantle to seep through. This is how volcanoes form. Volcanoes can be active, dormant, or extinct. It depends on how close the crack in Earth's surface is to an available pool of magma in the mantle, called the magma chamber. An active volcano erupts at least once every 10,000 years. Wow, yikes. A dormant volcano hasn't erupted in the past 10,000 years, but is expected to again. Because remember we talked about that word dormant? It just means it's sleeping. An extinct volcano is expected to never erupt again. A volcano can become dormant or extinct if the movement of tectonic plates carries it away from its source of magma. So interesting. I'm not sure this was all about active volcanoes, right? What do you think? Okay, page 19. This is the page you're going to do two-column notes for. So pay close attention to this one, and then you might want to fill in your note sheet after. Landform patterns. The majority of landforms on Earth's surface have formed because of the movement of the tectonic plates. Because of this, mountains, valleys, and volcanoes are common at fault lines. Earthquakes are also common at fault lines. If two plates get stuck together, they build up energy until they break apart. Earthquakes are the vibrations felt when tectonic plates gather enough energy to move past one another. Earthquakes occur all over the world at all three kinds of plate boundaries: convergent, divergent, and transform. Volcanoes are most common along divergent and convergent boundaries. One of the most well-known plate boundaries encircles the Pacific Ocean. It's often called the Ring of Fire because so many earthquakes and volcanic activity occur there. The Ring of Fire has more than 450 active volcanoes. Take a minute to look at this picture. It's pretty neat. Actually, I think I'll zoom in for you if I can. Oops, hold on. If it lets me. Pretty cool when you see these little red dots and their symbolism for volcanoes and earthquakes. Pretty cool. All right, take a look at that two-column note sheet and then go on to page 20. Okay, last thing of this section, mapping patterns. What can we highlight to remember to help us the difference between latitude and longitude? Oh, I love when social studies and science collide. Geologists use maps to make sense of the data they collect about Earth's surface. Every location has a set of two coordinates that meet at a specific point on Earth, latitude and longitude. Horizontal latitude lines mark how far a point is north or south of the equator. Vertical longitude lines mark how far a point is east or west of the prime meridian. Latitude and longitude help scientists identify specific locations on Earth. For example, they can use the latitude and longitude points of specific volcanoes to see whether any patterns emerge in their locations. So, did you notice something that was possibly underlined here? What other famous horizontal lines relate to latitude, highlighted on the diagram? What famous vertical line relates to longitude? So on this diagram, it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom in for you a bit. So you can see the prime meridian. Let's see if I can get a highlighter for you. So here's the prime meridian, right? 0 degrees longitude. And here's, of course, our friend the equator. I'm hoping this highlighter straightens itself out. Perfect. Okay, this is actually kind of thick. Don't forget about the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, located at 23.5 degrees north and 23.5 degrees south. So this is 15 and this is 30. So it'd be kind of closer to this line, I guess. All right, and then 23.5 degrees south of the equator. Sorry that mine is not straight. Well, it will be in a minute. Okay, so keep in mind those lines that we've talked a little bit about previously. Okay, so you're all set now. We're ready to move on to our next investigation. We're going to take a little bit more of a look at the Ring of Fire, which is pretty cool, and mapping out some locations of volcanoes and earthquakes. So hope this video helped you out. And for now, Mrs. PTV signing off.